Racing to the 2024 Kentucky Derby, and this time let's get an update on the leaderboard. We'll also take a look at Baby Godzilla, Forever Young, pointing to the Kentucky Derby. He has arrived from Japan, and the latest Oaks news and Derby update as we get to 18 days away from Kentucky Derby 2024. Latest Kentucky Oaks news: Jody's Pride is out and Regulatory Risk is out. That means Ways and Means for trainer Chad Brown and Our Pretty Woman for Steve Asmussen. They are in the 2024 Kentucky Oaks. The next one on deck is Candide, who recently ran in the Ashland Stakes. Now for the boys, Deterministic still undecided. Encino is not decided if he's going to take his spot in the Kentucky Derby starting gate. So we've got Grand Mo the first and Common Defense, the next two in line for the Kentucky Derby starting gate. Now Forever Young from Japan has arrived on American soil. He arrived on Saturday. And let's take a look at his past performances. He's 5 for 5. He's undefeated. He started his career with 3 victories in Japan. Then he won the Saudi Arabia Derby, and he also won the UAE Derby, picking up 100 points. All 5 of his races have been at 1 mile or longer, so he definitely has a fitness edge coming over here to the United States. Of course, Forever Young won the UAE Derby. He picked up 100 Kentucky Derby points in one of the Big 7 final prep races for 2024. He's a Japan bred by Real Steel, and Japan runners in the Kentucky Derby: Derma Sotogake finished 6th last year. Mandarin Hero was 12th, Crown Pride was 13th, Master Fencer was 6th, Lanny was 9th, and Ski Captain was 14th, all the way back in 1995. So no Japan runners have hit the top 4 placings in the Kentucky Derby. Derma Sotogake with a little bit of a rough trip last year, but can Forever Young be the first one to be on the board, top 4, maybe top 5 for the Kentucky Derby? Now, Forever Young, he's a Saudi Derby winner. He's a UAE Derby winner, 2-time stakes winner. But overall, those races are not grade 1 class when you consider the historical perspective on them. Saudi Derby is new, facing a lot of turf runners. It's a 1 mile distance. And the UAE Derby gives horses from Argentina and South America. They're 4-year-olds, and then you get some turf runners coming over from Great Britain. So again, it's not as established. Let's take a look at Forever Young, how he got here. He started his career in October. He dominated this race, was bet down. Now, he did show a little bit more speed in this debut, but that could be a little bit misleading. He was going 1 1/8 miles, and he debuted very fit and was just faster than these horses. So Forever Young near the pace. He won by almost 7 lengths, drew off, and won in his debut. Now, you take a look at start number 2. It's in November. It's still in Japan. He came a little bit off the pace. He took the lead about 100 yards out, went on to about a 1.5 length victory, and pulled away at the wire with Forever Young, looking smooth, 1 mile distance, and really put it kind of together, face a little bit tougher competition in start 2. Now in start 3, he goes 1 1/8 miles. This is where he needs a little bit of that pedigree, Japan bred. And this was a very minor track in Japan. Kawasaki, he kind of just dominates this field, wins by 7. This would be the equivalent of a prep race in America at like Fauner Park, Blue Ribbon Downs. He really just was better than these horses. He won by 7 lengths. Hard to get a gauge of who he really beat in this field, but he did dominate, and it was at 1 1/8 miles. So now we move forward to his 2024 campaign. Comes off that 1,600-meter race in race number 3, goes back to 1 mile again, and in Saudi Arabia, he's the favorite, pulls away, kind of struggles to switch leads down the lane, catches Bookham Dano at the wire, and picks up the victory. And that improved his record to 4 for 4. Forever Young, kind of the favorite in that race. Struggled to switch leads, but did nail Bookham Dano on the line. And then he kind of goes into the UAE Derby, big field, again, facing some horses that are technically older than him, but now it's a little bit better distance, 1 3/16 miles, and He gets the job done, wins that race. He kind of changed leads again late in that race, but it was a little bit less demanding race and took the lead with about 100 yards to go from Autobahn. He ran him down. US-based Panda Gate was third, about 5 lengths behind Forever Young. Now, overall, the time of the race was not that great, so kind of get mid-90s time form US buyer speed figure, maybe about 100 on the time forward scale, maybe about a 90 on the buyer scale. And that's really just extrapolated from really only 1 or 2 other dirt races on that card that day. The rest are on the turf. So kind of hard to get a speed figure for Forever Young for those last 3 races. Now he has arrived in America. He did gallop on Sunday. Here he is. He went out of quarantine in Chicago. He did arrive earlier than some of the horses have in past years from Dubai. So I think that's a positive sign for Forever Young. Mr. Yahagi trains Forever Young as he prepares for the Kentucky Derby. Now the strengths through 5 races for Forever Young. He's undefeated, 5 starts, 5 wins, 3 races as a juvenile. Started his career in October, ran in November, ran in December, and 5 races, all of them at a mile or over. So he definitely has a fitness edge. The questions, class level. Who did he beat in that last race in Japan? A very minor track. He's got a ship to Churchill. The UAE to Derby history is 0 for 17. And speed figures, they kind of look average. Derma Sotogake had a faster speed figure last year. Mendelssohn had a bigger speed figure when he came over. And overall, the speed figures on Forever Young are not as big. Now, the projected odds, right around 7 or 8 to 1 for Forever Young, right behind Fierceness and Sierra Leone. And the road to the 150th Kentucky Derby continues. We've got post positions drawn on Saturday, April 27th, a week out from the race. The Derby Pedigree Show on April 29th, that's a Monday. The Derby Handicapping Show on a Tuesday, April 30th. And we're going to break it down post-race. After the Derby, we'll go live and talk about all the people that won money, all the people that lost money, trips and trouble notes from the Kentucky Derby. Sign up for the Triple Crown Prospectus. It comes out every Monday, 2,000 words. We rank all of the Derby horses, talk about the Oaks and the 3-year-old scene. You can sign up below in the description. And the Kentucky Derby Pedigree Show with Jessica Tugwell. We're going to go over all the contenders on Monday, April 29th, 7 o'clock Central. If you can't join us live, you can catch the replay. And the Racing Notebook is going to have a tip sheet for the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont. Sign up once and you're good for the rest of the summer. We'll have a Travers Day edition, some of the other big days like Haskell Day. So what do you think of Forever Young? Baby Godzilla coming over. He's undefeated, 5 for 5. Do you think he fits class-wise and speed figure-wise? Leave a comment. Remember, smash that like button as we get more Derby content closer to the Derby. D. Wayne Lucas says people have opinions, horses have the facts.